Yo, what's up, everyone? I want to talk about the gamification of learning in this video. All right, kind of a weird subject, but I think it's something relatively new that we're seeing, but I don't think it's like a brand new concept. I think it's an older concept kind of reinvented here. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever seen this, like there are places out there, like there are apps where you can learn languages. There are apps you can download to learn different subjects. There are websites you can go to learn things. I'm not even talking about coding in general, even though this is a programming channel. There are websites where you can learn things, and they've made it like a game. There's achievements, there's notifications to check in. There's almost like, I've seen somewhere it's like notifications like your base is being rated. Go in there and take a 10-question quiz to stop your base from being rated. And I like the idea, I just don't know about the efficacy of it. What I mean by I like the idea of trying to make something that's typically boring, like learning. Listen, I'm an adult, I know that learning can be boring, all right? School's boring, I don't like it, I get that. You want to take something that's boring, that's not fun, and make it fun. So you want to take something like, okay, games are fun, so let's try to mix games with learning. That makes perfect sense. I think the idea makes perfect sense. The idea itself is harmless. So my worries or my qualms with it are around what is the incentive? What is the incentive structure here? Like in that one example, I said like, oh, your base is being rated. Log in and take this 10-question quiz to, not lose your streak, to save your base, to do whatever. Are you incentivized to learn and be able to take this quiz with the knowledge you have in your brain? Or are you incentivized just to take the quiz? If it's a video game, are you incentivized just to skip through the dialogue and just brute force a quiz and try and get the right answers? Because that's what I'm worried about. I want the incentive to be learning, but the incentive here seems like it's more on the output rather than learning. It's more on the scores of the quiz rather than actually synthesizing new knowledge. This brings me to a point where I'm saying, I don't think this is new. I think this is something old reinvented. And this is sort of like how colleges now, or universities, your education isn't even geared towards like higher learning in and of itself. Certain universities is, I'm not talking about universities, I'm not talking about specific universities, I'm talking about just in general. A lot of them have been geared towards getting you a job. So it's education with a goal, with a purpose. Now, typically it's a good thing, but in the past, it was education for education's sake. It was higher learning for higher learning's sake. It was higher learning because it's useful to have people in your society that have undergone higher learning, that have learned things, that are educated. That is just a useful thing to have. Now it's like, okay, you go here, you learn this so you can get a job. And then when you're in like high school, you're one step before college. It's like, okay, learn this stuff so you can get to college. Learn this stuff so you can pass the test. Like, the phrase that I remember people talking about, the teachers complaining back then, was like, we're not teaching to teach, we are teaching for the quizzes, we are teaching for the tests, we are teaching for the standardized tests because we need the students to do well on these standardized tests so we can receive funding. So it's like, okay, remember I talked about incentive structures? That incentive structure is very clear. Money, funding. Oh my God, that is the world's biggest bee, dude. Oh, that was super cool. A big giant bumblebee just flew by. It was huge and loud. And I love bumblebees. They're great. They don't ever try to hurt you. They're just chilling. They're just fun little guys. Wasps, on the other hand, monsters. But no, that was cool. I just because I was like, it's getting a little bit too close for comfort. What was I talking about? Yeah, so the incentive structure there is clear. We want to make sure that we have enough people doing well on these tests so we can continue to receive funding, so we can have enough people that do well on these tests so we can continue receiving funding, because we're teachers, we need to get paid. I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing. I can see the whole structure. I can zoom out and look at it and see where the incentives lie and realize like, oh, we're creating perverse incentives. We're not teaching to teach. We're not educating people to educate people. We're educating people in high school so they can go to a good college. We're educating people in college so they can go get a good job. So to back up, when we're talking about the gamification of learning, is it even the gamification of learning, or have we just taken something like learning, applied some game elements to it, and then you can feel like you're learning? Because this is another part of the problem I don't hear enough people talking about, so I think I'm gonna start talking about it. People, I don't know how else to say this. People act like learning should be easy. There you go. People act like learning should be easy. Like, you ever like, it's similar to like going to the gym and like working out. Either you're like building muscle or you're trying to like get your cardio up or something. It's not easy. You ever go do a cardio workout, a hard cardio workout, you go run the treadmill, like you're sweating, you're barely able to catch your breath. It's not easy. If it's an easy workout, how hard are you actually working? If you leave the gym and you're like, oh, I feel great, like don't get me wrong, I hope you mentally feel great, but you should feel like sore. Like if you're working out hard muscles, like you should be like, oh my God, I'm dead after this. Another example is when people talk about therapy. I see this one a lot. This is one of, it's not really a pet peeve. I don't mean to say it that way, but there are a lot of people that talk about like, oh, I love going to see my therapist. I see them every week. And after every time we have like, I feel good after the session. I feel like happy. I feel light. I feel free. And it's like, listen, that is great. That's awesome. But if you're aware of problems you have that you should be working on, I'm a little bit nervous if after every session you feel good, because sometimes when you're working on like something hard or you've just been like digging deep in your emotions or your feelings for an hour, like no, you might actually feel like exhausted, drained, even a little bit angry, maybe even a little resentful towards the person you're working with. Like when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like when someone like sits through like a sales pitch, but they don't realize it's a sales pitch. So maybe they're like watching someone talking about like, here's good ways you could spend your money or invest your money. And they come out of it and they're like, wow, that was so empowering. I feel like I can do so much. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. What did you learn? They're like, no, it's just like a really great vibe. Like they taught me so much. It's like, that's so cool. What did they teach you? And they're like, well, you know, they started talking about you know, capital and maximizing capital and making sure that our revenue is above our, and I'm like, do you have any concrete piece of like knowledge that they taught you there? Because don't get me wrong, yeah, dude, I love using the word capital instead of money, but it sounds like you didn't actually get anything out of this. They just made you feel good. And that's a great way to sell to people. So when you talk about like when I talk about, it's my video, I'm talking about whatever I want. When I talk about the gamification of learning, that's what I worry about. Are you actually learning or are you just having fun? Don't get me wrong. There's value in having fun, man, but just admit you're playing a game. It's like when someone makes like a healthy snack and you look at the macros on it and you're like, dude, it's just a snack, man. And that's okay. Eat snacks. It's okay. It's okay. Have fun. Eat empty calories, dude. It's life, man. It's meant to be lived. But just don't lie to me about what it is. So when it has like the gamification of learning, I'm like, sometimes I just want to be like, dude, you're just playing a game. And that's fine. You're just playing a game and maybe you learn some concepts along the way. What a plus. What a bonus. But when you look at this like, no, this is learning first and the gaming stuff has been tacked on, I'm just like, I'm weary about this. Wary? Weary. Someone corrected me recently and I don't remember which one is which. Weary means I'm worn out. Wary means I'm nervous about it. Let me know in the comments if I got that one right. Maybe I'm wary of it. But yeah, that's just my concern here. When you start gamifying something, I can start introducing all the game concepts we have, like DLC and renewable subscriptions. And suddenly you're paying for this thing to go do that you feel like you're doing something good. You're paying for gamified learning the way that you're paying for a gym. It's like, okay, well, I'm paying for it, so it's going to keep me honest. It's like, no, that alone will not keep you honest. You have to keep yourself honest. And maybe you are, and that's awesome. But you're paying like a recurring subscription to go do this thing because you feel like it's good for you, but you might actually just be having fun and being entertained. Like I said, that's valuable, but just recognize it for what it is. I know people, I see people where they do these language learning apps on their phone and they have a streak of over 3 years. I'm like, that's awesome. Say one sentence in the language. I don't mean that to be mean. I just mean like, are you just having fun on your phone and playing this little game that also has something to do with language? If so, awesome. I'm not a hater. Like, I really am not. That's awesome if that's what you're doing. But when they're like, yeah, I'm learning a language. I've been doing this for 3 years and I can't speak any of it. I'm like, at what point were you learning the language? Like, what? You know, I don't know. It sounds like I'm being mean. It sounds like I'm being a hater. I promise I'm not. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the gamification of learning. I think it's a reinvention of teaching someone for the tests, of just teaching someone so you will do well on tests because we need you to do well on tests. In this one, it's a little more, you could call it a little more nefarious because like you're trying to introduce gaming concepts to get people to pay you money to have access to the platform. I don't think it's nefarious, by the way. Some people do. I'm over here like, it's funny, if you watch my content, you know I give away stuff for free. I made a whole 7-hour bash scripting course that I made completely for free. You can pay me if you want to, but you don't have to. And some people assume it's like, that's amazing. Dave would never charge for anything, like those evil creators. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Get your bag, bro. I'm totally fine with charging money for a service or a product. I think that's wonderful. I think you work hard for something, you deserve to be paid for. Like, I am absolutely on board with that, okay? So don't ascribe a worldview to me that I don't have. So if you're a platform that has gamified learning and you charge for it, I think that's fine. Like, I do think that's fine. I'm putting the responsibility on the consumer to really recognize, what are you getting out of these platforms? Are you actually learning? If you're actually learning, awesome, dude. awesome. I think that's great. That's wonderful. I love learning. I encourage it on this channel, but really be honest with yourself, because I know some people that will substitute actual learning for, well, I get to play a little game and I'm paying money, so I feel like I'm getting something out of it. And all you're really getting out of it is that good feeling. So be careful, put a price on how much that good feeling is actually worth to you, and just kind of be honest with yourself if you can. So yeah, that's my thoughts on gamified learning. Kind of a weird video. Let me know how you guys like these kind of videos where I'm just hanging out here talking. It seems like a lot of people enjoy it. I've gotten people in my real life who are like, Dave, I watched your latest video where you talked. I'm like, you watched my video? You don't even do tech stuff. Why are you watching my video? That's awesome. And they're like, no, it's really cool. Like, I think it's so cool you talk about this stuff. It's just like, I don't know, it's interesting to see what's going on in your brain. So let me know what you guys think about this. I think it's really fun. I love sitting out here and just getting to talk with you guys. And if you're like, oh no, Dave's gonna be doing this 24/7, I still love tech content. Go look at my channel. I think I've been doing like writing Rust on stream for multiple hours without AI. So go check that out if you want to see me write code. Don't worry, I will never stop writing code. It's a ton of fun. But as always, I got to thank the patrons over at Patreon. Thank you so much for your continued support. You want your name at the end of one of my videos, go ahead and sign up for it. That's what you get. You want to hack my little script that shows your names at the end of the video and add some color to your name like Jordan did, or add some spaces like Dark Space did. Maybe at the time that this video goes up, there'll be even more. Who knows? Feel free to go do it, because I think that's awesome. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. That's all I got. See ya.